the nervous system. The nervous system is the system in our body that's made up of nerve cells, and what it does is it receives and transmits information. So it takes in all of our external information, and it also generates information from our internal body. So the nervous system is the system in the body that receives and transmits information. Where is the nervous system? Well, if I ask the average person that question, they will quickly tell me it's the brain and spinal cord. However, since it's the system in the body that, transmits all information, we know that it's not just the brain and spinal cord. The brain and spinal cord is the central nervous system. So the central nervous system is the brain and spinal cord, and the way you could kind of remember that is it's in the center of the body. So the central nervous system is in the center of the body. But those are just kind of the central part. We know that there's lots more. So the other part of the nervous system, so what we're learning here is we're learning the 6 parts of the nervous system. So the first part is the one that most people know about, the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. But then we have the peripheral nervous system. So when I say the word peripheral, probably a lot of you think of peripheral vision, which is good because now you can connect that and you say, okay, the peripheral nervous system is everything outside of the central nervous system. So peripheral, outside. So the peripheral nervous system, since it's so large, it's not just the brain and spinal cord, it's everything outside. So if we look up here, all this stuff, all these nerves, then we know that we're going to break it into different parts. So I don't know if you've seen this word before, but maybe you've seen the word soma. And probably where you'd see the soma is you'd know that that's the cell body. So maybe you could relate somatic nervous system to the body nervous system, but the way that I like to remember it is SS. Somatic nervous system makes the skeletal muscles work. What we say is it innervates the skeletal muscles. So whenever you flex a muscle that's attached to the skeleton, that's your somatic nervous system working. Okay, so now we've got the brain and spinal cord and we got the muscles covered. So what could be next? Let's see what's next. When I see this word autonomic, if I say what's the first thing that pops into your head? Okay, it would be automatic, hopefully. I'm not sure. Autonomic, automatic. So what in your body is automatic? It's the glands and organs. So the other branch of the peripheral nervous system is the autonomic nervous system, organs and glands. But then we have a specialized, the autonomic is specialized. It has 2 parts. One part is the sympathetic nervous system, and then the other part is the parasympathetic nervous system. So I always ask my classes, I say, okay, when would your body need to have sympathy for you? And a lot of people will say, oh, when you're sick. Okay, well, try not to think of it that way. Try to think of it like this. Your body would have to have sympathy for you when you are in danger more. Think of that. So whenever you're in danger or stressed, sympathetic stressed, then what the body does is says, oh no, let me get you out of this predicament. And so it gives you lots of energy to get you out of danger. It will raise your heart rate, it's going to open your lungs, it's going to dilate your pupils, it's going to stop digestion, it's going to stop your reproduction cells, because you don't need to do any of that. You just need to get out of danger. So a lot of people know the sympathetic nervous system as fight or flight, but I'm just trying to help you relate a way to remember sympathetic. Oh, we need sympathy, get us out of this danger. And so to remember, sympathetic is your fight or flight or stress nervous system, sympathetic stress. Okay, so now all we have left is we have the parasympathetic nervous system. So your book says that the word para means beside. So could you remember para? I always think of it as with, I don't know if that makes as much sense though. Is para means kind of like back to, beside. So when you're not stressed out, the nervous system that's being activated more is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, what they do is they act on a continuum. And basically we all have an optimal level. Some of us need a lot of kind of stress to make us feel alive, and so we lean more to the sympathetic activation. And some of us don't like the stress at all, and so we lean more to the parasympathetic activation. But basically your body is always trying to keep the two in balance, is trying to maintain the homeostasis. If you go too far one way, then that's not good, and if you go too far the other way, then that's not good. So let's see those words. Autonomic nervous system is broken into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So there's the spelling of the words if you didn't know how to spell them. Sympathetic has long preganglionic and short postganglionic, and then it talks about the differences with the neurotransmitters that it releases, which is norepinephrine and epinephrine and so on and so forth. For this particular lecture test, you don't have to know that. However, the book test, the way I do it is I do a test bank and I just load all the questions in there, and it's just as a random sort. So for the lecture test, I just need you to know sympathetic, parasympathetic. You don't have to know all the short, post, and preganglionic and all the different functions there. Okay, so let's review. A segment is we learned the 6 parts of the nervous system. We learned what the nervous system is. It's the system in the body that receives and transmits information. We learned where it is. It's everywhere.